On September 1st, 1939, the world changed forever. As German forces crossed into Poland, families across Europe, Asia, and eventually the globe would find their daily lives transformed in ways unimaginable just months before. Food became a precious commodity. In Britain, rationing began in January 1940. Each person received a ration book with coupons for essential items.
2 ounces of butter per week, 4 ounces of bacon, 1 fresh egg, if we're lucky. How am I supposed to feed a family of 5 on this?
Creative cooking became survival. Housewives learned to make mock versions of everything: mock cream from margarine and milk, mock fish from mashed potatoes, even mock apricot from carrots and almond extract.
In America, rationing started in 1942. Sugar, coffee, meat, cheese, butter, and canned goods all required stamps. We had meatless Tuesdays and victory gardens in every backyard.
When darkness fell, cities disappeared. The blackout was mandatory across Britain and much of Europe.
Put that light out! Don't you know there's a war on?
Every window covered with thick curtains. No streetlights, no car headlights. We stumbled through streets darker than the countryside, trying not to break our necks on curbs we couldn't see. Traffic accidents actually increased during the blackout.
Families spent nights huddled in Anderson shelters, corrugated iron structures buried in back gardens, or in underground stations, listening to bombs fall above. September 3rd, 1939. Operation Pied Piper began. 3 million British children were evacuated from cities to the countryside.
Be good for Mrs. Henderson, love. Write to me every week. I'll come visit when I can.
I was 7 years old, standing on a platform with a gas mask box around my neck and a label pinned to my coat like a piece of luggage. We didn't know where we were going or who would take us in.
Some children found loving homes, others faced neglect, abuse, or simply the profound loneliness of separation. The psychological scars lasted lifetimes. With millions of men at the front, women filled roles previously closed to them.
I'm a welder at the shipyard. Rosie the Riveter, they call us. Before the war, I was a secretary. Now I'm building destroyers. My hands are rough, my back aches, but I'm doing my part.
In Britain, women served in the land army, growing food. In the Soviet Union, women flew combat missions as fighter pilots. In America, 6 million women entered the workforce. The war changed what society believed women could do. Governments needed to maintain morale. Propaganda filled every space. Posters, radio broadcasts, newsreels. Keep calm and carry on. Your courage is your weapon. Remember, loose lips sink ships. Despite hardship, people found joy. Dance halls stayed open. Hollywood produced escapist films. The BBC broadcast comedy shows. Glenn Miller's orchestra played swing music that made people forget, for a moment, the bombs and the losses. For millions, daily life meant something far darker: systematic persecution and genocide.
They came for us gradually. First, we couldn't work certain jobs. Then we had to wear yellow stars. Then the ghettos. Cramped, starving, watching neighbors disappear. When the cattle cars came, we knew. Everyone knew.
6 million Jews murdered. Millions more: Roma, disabled people, political prisoners, LGBTQ individuals, targeted by the Nazi regime. In occupied territories across Europe and Asia, civilians faced execution, forced labor, and starvation. In the Soviet Union, the war was devastation on an unimaginable scale.
During the Siege of Leningrad, 872 days of encirclement, We ate bread made from sawdust. We burned furniture to survive winters of -30 degrees. Over 1 million civilians died, most from starvation. My grandmother ate wallpaper paste to survive.
27 million Soviet citizens died in the war, nearly half of all World War II deaths. In Asia, Japanese occupation brought brutality to millions.
The Nanjing Massacre, the comfort women system, forced labor, Unit 731's medical experiments. Our villages burned. Our families scattered or killed.
And when the Americans came with firebombs, Tokyo burned. 100,000 dead in a single night. Then came Hiroshima, Nagasaki. In an instant, everything we knew was vaporized.
An entire generation grew up knowing only conflict.
I was 5 when the war started, 11 when it ended. I don't remember peace. I remember hunger, always hunger. I remember the sound of air raid sirens. I remember my father's uniform, the last time I saw him. I remember my mother crying at night when she thought I was asleep.
May 8, 1945. Victory in Europe. August 15, 1945. Victory over Japan.
The celebrations were bittersweet. We'd won, but at what cost? 50 million dead worldwide, cities in ruins, families destroyed. And we survivors, we carried the war inside us forever.
The world had changed irrevocably. The United Nations formed. The nuclear age began. Colonial empires crumbled. The Cold War emerged. But most profoundly, an entire generation understood that war meant not just soldiers dying on distant battlefields, but the complete transformation of ordinary life. How you ate, where you slept, whether your family survived the night.
People ask me what it was like. I tell them, it was ordinary people facing extraordinary circumstances. We didn't feel heroic. We felt scared, exhausted, hungry. But we endured. We had to. That's what ordinary people do in extraordinary times. We survive. World War II killed more than 50 million people and wounded countless others in body, mind, and spirit. It remains the deadliest conflict in human history, a testament to both humanity's capacity for destruction and its resilience in the face of unimaginable hardship.